doing amazing things. So without further ado, we're moving on to our topics around financial wellness and thinking about money and thinking about generational wealth. Generational wealth is something that's so personal to many people, and you know, it's something that can be built. I have seen it being built. The work that I do today is a product of generational wealth. So I believe in it wholeheartedly. I am so excited to bring on stage Nina Chimangha, who is an investment coach specifically for women of color. You know, it's all well and good us talking about, you know, generational wealth for everybody else, but our needs as women of color, particularly as the fact that most of us are living in the diaspora, and even for those who are living on the continent, our challenges are so different. So Nina, we cannot wait to hear from you. So excited to hear what you have to say and to learn from your wisdoms and insights. Over to you, Nina.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. I'm so excited to be a part of this opportunity. And I'm so thankful to Nancy and her entire team for putting this together so women can just come together to empower one another. And so far, we've been listening to the past couple of speakers I've been speaking over the yesterday and today. They've talked so much about mental illness, mental wellness, personal development, personal branding. And I think one of the speakers yesterday, I think that was Kayla, she talked about financial wellness. So now how to be good with your money, how to improve on your finances, how to budget and all that good stuff, right? So today we're kind of taking it a step further, which is now we're talking about investing. So and when I say investing, I'm meaning like how do you make money grow? How do you make money work for you? And that's how we take it a step further. So the first part is like understanding your finances, making your money work for you. And then the next part now is like investing that money to triple that money to build generational wealth. So I just had a little slide I put on here that has to do with like stock market, a woman's path to financial independence. And the reason why I really picked on the women is because women are always left behind when it comes to finances. Finances is not something that it's a woman's field. You understand? It's a very highly male-dominated field. Mostly males are there, and a lot of when you talk about finances, you don't see women in that space a lot. So we're trying to change the narrative, especially as Black, especially as immigrants, that even as women, we can make a difference and we can stand out in the financial field. So these are just a couple of topics that we're going to cover today. What is investing? How does it work? What to do before you start investing? Opening up a brokerage account, your risk tolerance, the different types of investment, and portfolio diversification. So those are like the main topics we just covered today because we don't have a lot of time. So yeah, so the first thing I want to tell, what is investing? Investing is pretty much putting your money to work for you. So like investing in a share of a company so you can make money off of that money. So for example, there's so many companies out there, big companies that we all know, right? Household names, for example, like Amazon. Everyone here probably uses Amazon in their house somehow, right? So those are different companies that you can invest in those companies. And in return, once you buy a piece of a stock in that company, you become a shareholder. So you're a shareholder now. So you're a part owner of maybe Amazon, Facebook, or whatever company you choose to invest, right? And then you can go from there. And pretty much when you invest in that company, the companies either pay you back by, let me say, like dividend payments. They'll probably pay you back. There are two ways you get payments from a company when you invest, right? So you either get payments from dividends or you get payments from capital gains. And dividends is just like money those companies will pay you back for being a trusted business or person investing into their business. So if you invest into Apple, Apple will pay you dividends, but not all companies do pay dividends. That's what we need to be very cognizant about. And then when it comes to compounding, how does that money compound? So when you hear people say, oh, I built a portfolio of like 6-7 million, it didn't happen overnight. They started small, right? So you have to start small and then you keep moving slowly but surely, you keep investing. And can we just move on to the next slide? That's fine, please. So yeah, pretty much talk about this already. And when I talk about investing, there's a big difference between investing and gambling. So that's what we need to also understand, right? So when people are like day traders, that's pretty much gambling because you're buying today and selling tomorrow. When you talk about investing, I'm talking about long term. And what's the definition of long term? Anything long term is like maybe 5 to 10 years to 20 years. That's what I mean by investing. If you're just day trading, doing forex, all of that stuff, that's pretty much gambling because you're buying and selling, and it's very risky. So whatever you buy, you have to take note because you can lose some money. And then I already mentioned why it's very important for us to invest, because we're trying to build generational wealth. We're trying to make money work for us. I don't know about you, but I don't want to work till I'm 65 years old. And if we notice, we still have a lot of people that work until after 65 in like where I come from. I know there are people from so many other countries right here or where I currently live right now, but I don't want to work until 65. So you have to find ways to be able to make money work for you if you don't want to work until 65 years. This next slide. Thank you. And I pick women of color, like I said, because this is a field that you don't have too many women in there. When it comes to money and other topics, even in the house, you'll be very surprised. You have some houses where the woman don't know anything about the finances in the house. And I'm trying to change that narrative because I've seen situations where a divorce could happen and she has to start from all over because she has no money, she has no nothing, and she didn't know about the finances. And when you say, oh, my husband was handling that and I didn't have any idea. So it's really important that if you're in a house, even as a married woman, you should have some understanding of how the finances are being shared in your household. Even if you don't want to have it 100%, you should be able to understand in case, because you could wake up today, even if you don't have a divorce, your husband can die. It happens to people. You can just wake up one day and something happens to your husband, or you have an accident, or he get into a very chronic illness, cancer, whatever. So many things are happening today. And then all of a sudden, the breadwinner passes away and you're stuck maybe with like 2, 3 kids and you don't know what to do. And they're asking you about, oh, where's your bank account? You say, I don't know because my husband was in control of that. So what accounts do you guys have? I have no idea. So I'm really trying to change that because I want women to be cognizant of what's happening in their household. Even if you're not there 100%, have an idea of how finances are being held or finances are being operated in your household. And that's why I'm really picky on women. And so when you want to invest, there's so many different stuff you can invest in, right? You have individual stocks, you have bonds, you have mutual funds, you have ETFs, you have index funds. But for people who are pretty very young, I always tell you to just go with index funds because they're very safe, they're very secured, and you'll guarantee a return on your investment. So, but if you want to dabble a little bit, you can get into some good growth individual stocks. I already mentioned household names such as Apple, Amazon. We have like really trending stocks right now. Nvidia, if you're on the news, you should have heard about Nvidia because it's one of those semiconductors, and it's a lot happening with all of that right now. If you want to dabble into that, fine. I just tell people complicate investing. If you want to invest, I tell people just look around your house, the stuff you use every day. A lot of us here, I don't know if you live in the US, a lot of us here love going to Target. Target is you can buy a share of Target. So you might as well invest in the companies you use on a day-to-day. A lot of us go to Costco every day. You can buy a share of Costco. A lot of us shop at Walmart. You can buy a share of Walmart. So wherever you buy stuff or you consume the products, try to have a share of it. Another big one is Apple. A lot of us have Apple products, from the phones to the computers to the headsets, you name it. So many Apple products, you can get a share of Apple. So you're also benefiting from the company. You're not just a consumer. Now you translate from a consumer to an investor of that company. So yeah, thank you. Next slide. And then another big thing when it comes to investing, right, is diversification of your portfolio. So you need to make sure that your portfolio is very diversified. And again, I always say rule number one, like Warren Buffett said, don't invest in anything you don't understand, right? If you don't understand it, and that's why some people don't invest in crypto. I don't blame them. They don't understand crypto. If you don't understand crypto, do not invest into it. Someone has approached me before, can you invest into Forex? I don't understand Forex. I don't know what Forex is talking about. I said I declined the offer. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. So if you don't understand anything, don't invest into it. Or if you don't have money, only invest money you're sure that you can lose the money and you'll be fine with it. And you know how back in the days, like not even back like 3, 4 years ago, when we had like the GameStop bubble and everything, so many people invested money into that and lost that. Do your research. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you do your research. Anything you want to understand, invest in, Make sure you understand that. Make sure you understand the company, and make sure you understand the risks you're getting into. If you don't know, ask questions, because it's very important. If not, you're gonna lose your money, and you're not gonna have anyone to blame for that. Yeah. Oh, my friend told me to invest in this. Don't follow your friend. Make your conscious decision and only understand in things that invest in stuff that you can understand. So that's why it's very important to diversify your portfolio, and also have a mix of different stuff in your portfolio, right? You can have index funds, you can have ETFs, you can have individual stocks. It's very fine. And most importantly, if you're investing for the long term, it's even better, because let me say, like, in 2022, the stock market was down. So the stock market was down so bad. But if you're investing for the long term, you don't have to worry about that, because you still have a very long time for you to make up for those losses. So that's why I tell people, if anybody asks me, how many years should I be investing for? I tell them minimum of 10 years. So in case you lose money, because it's a stock market, right? It's going to go up and down. It's very linear. In case you lose money, you can always make up for that money. So just give it some time. Next slide, please. And so this is just an example of the stuff that you can invest in, pretty much stocks, money market accounts. And a lot of people have this notion that, oh, I'm just going to save my money. But I'm sorry to tell you, you can't save your way to wealth. Some people are so scared to invest in the stock market. Oh, I don't understand the stock market. And I just want to share a story. When I started investing, I didn't understand the stock market, but I just had to take the risks, right? And I learned as I went. But I just want to make it clear that, especially with the inflation we're facing right now, you cannot save your way to wealth. There's no way you can save your way to wealth, because you're going to run out of money. $100 now, in the next 10 years, it's going to be worth about maybe $10. And we can just see from this short time, right? Just 2, 3, 4 years ago, $100, you could go into the grocery store and $100 will purchase you a full cart of groceries. Not anymore. It's not like that again today. So if you really want to amplify your money, if you want to grow your money, there's only 3 ways you can really grow your money. You have to invest the money if you want the money to work for you, because you cannot save your way to wealth. So just take that away from this whole conversation. And even if you don't desire to retire early, right? I still tell everyone to invest, because you might just not want to work anymore, or you might just want to work part-time. And we know how things are getting expensive. Even if you want to work part-time, at least you have some money saved and invested, and then you can go ahead and now say, okay, I can choose not to work today because I have some money working for you. So I always tell people, when you get paid, you need to prioritize paying yourself first. I'll always say that. And when I even heard that statement, pay yourself first, that was about 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, what does that mean? I don't know what do you mean to pay yourself first? So I really had to understand the concept, because nowadays, most of us, when we get our paychecks, we pay the bills, we live life, and then we save up what's left of. No, the proper way to do is, when you get paid, invest in yourself by saving, investing, and then you can live off whatever is left. That's the proper way to do it. So you're prioritizing your future self. Because imagine, even right now, jobs are so hard to come by. If you lose your job and you don't have any savings, how are you going to make it? And that's why a lot of us go back into debt. A lot of us become homeless, very possible. A lot of us have to move back into our parents' houses. A lot of us have to move back with family, because we are literally one paycheck away from becoming homeless, or not being able to pay our bills, or not being able to pay your bills on time, or keep up with the lifestyle you're living right now. So just a food for thought. Are you saving? And I always tell people to save, because don't start investing when you don't have savings. That's the first step. Even if you have debt, make sure that you're tackling your debt, especially if it's really high interest debt like credit cards, student loans, and all of that. Make sure you're trying to pay that off. And then when you pay that, you can now have some savings aside, which is called your emergency fund. Make sure you have an emergency fund. Make sure you have a sinking fund. And then when you pass that stage, now you can go on to the stage of investing to grow your wealth, because you already have savings, right? You can, when I tell people, Please don't keep more than. I see people say, "Oh, I have $100,000 in my bank account." It's not a flex. It's good, but it's not a flex. Why are you keeping $100,000 in your bank account in 2024? Invest that money. You can go into the 100,000. Maybe keep away $25,000 for your savings in case you lost a job, in case you have an emergency, and invest the rest. You don't have to be saving $100,000 in your account. You're losing the value of that money to inflation. Another thing I always tell people, make sure you can, and okay, this is a good point. People ask, where can I start investing? A lot of us even invest and we don't know it. You can start with your company's 401k right there. Some of us work jobs, and honestly, I've been a victim of that before I had to learn properly about finances. I had a job, I wasn't contributing to the 401k, and I had a company's match. I was literally leaving money on the table. So if you have a job, make sure you leave money on the table. Make sure you don't leave money on the table by investing into your 401k. And I have a very big tip. I want to talk about the savings accounts as well. Please, everyone, make sure you have a high yield savings account. We're in 2024. Do not save money in a traditional brick and mortar bank. Have a high yield savings account. If you need help with one, contact me later on. There's so many of them. I can hook you up. I can show you where to go to if you're not sure, if you don't trust anyone, but just let me know. But those are the tips that I just want to leave everyone with. And I have a last slide. I think I just want to talk about that slide and then we'll be good. It's not this one. I think the very last one. Just final takeaways. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago, because what you don't know, you don't know. The next best time is today. It's now. Don't procrastinate it, because the more you procrastinate it, the more you're eating into your future. So please, you can start small, even with $50. Then the thing is that people always think you need a lot to start investing. No, $50 will go a long way. Trust me. And then you don't also have to time the market. Make sure you're constantly investing. Even if you cannot invest out of your 401k, start with the 401k. That's good enough. That's good enough for a start. And then make sure that your time in the market is more important than timing the market. Don't time the market, because when you time the market, now you're day trading because you're trying to figure out, oh, when is the best time to sell? When is the best time to buy? So when you start making decisions like that, it's not good and you're going to end up losing money. So yeah, those are the main things I have. I'm just probably going to open the stage for any questions anyone has, because I don't want to take up too much time.
Thank you so much, Nina. Wow, that was incredible. I have learned so much from you just in terms of what we can do as women to really sort of harness, cobble our small, our shells, our small dollars, our pounds, our shillings, whatever currency we're working in and we're operating in, to just have a little bit of some coins for ourselves put away. And it's really, it's there's something really powerful that you said, the anecdote that you shared about the lady who was divorced and she didn't have any of her own assets or any of her own resources and she had to start again. Can you imagine, you've poured into nurturing a family and for whatever reason the marriage and the family unit has broken down and now you have to start again? Where does one even begin from? But had she, had the tips that you have given us, she might have been in a very different position. So I just want to share one thing quickly. So first of all, you can access the slides that Nina and from all of our speakers this afternoon on a platform called Disrupt, by getting the Disruptor ticket that's in the conference app. This is how you're going to be able to connect to directly speak with the speakers and also any other attendees. I would definitely recommend getting it because these slides, they're gold. Nina, I have a really interesting question for you.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a lot about investments, and where the part of Africa I come from Kenya, and in Kenya we like to touch our investments. We like land. we like soil. We like to be able to walk to our investment and say, yes, that is mine. We like to be able to measure the beacons of the land from here to here to here. I wonder if what would you say to somebody who's a traditional land investor and wants to make the switch to something that's intangible, like some of the things that you talked about, what would you say is the number one thing to do first?
Yeah, that's a good question. And funny enough, I'm from Cameroon, where I come from too. We like land. So most Africans, we like land. That's what it is. We love land. And even in Cameroon, a lot of people, oh, I own how many lands? 5 lands, 6 lands. Like it's a sign of like pride and everything. So, but like I always tell people, you can still diversify your portfolio, right? And myself, I'm looking to buy land in Africa because land is always going to serve you in the future. Trust me, whether you like it or not, land will always bring you money in the future. So it's a good investment. But the only thing is that make sure you diversify. If you can still keep your land, but now just put now your money into other places that's going to be working for you. You can open accounts, investment accounts, and still invest and have your land on the side. Because myself, I'm looking to buy land too in Africa. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Nina. That was incredible. I have learned so much from you. And like I said, Nina and all of the other speaker slides will be available online. So